Listen!
Welcome everyone, this is Andre's Restart, and this time we are talking about what is going on with Metroid Prime 4. The Nintendo Direct just happened, and a lot of us were hoping that Metroid Prime 4 would finally be shown off. It's been so long since it was announced. Of course, the Restart was announced back in January of 2019, but even then, that was a long time ago. Many think that it would be safe to think it's about time to at least show off the game. Yet it was not at this Direct. This summer Direct that a lot of us were arguing would happen, happened, but not with Metroid Prime 4. So why? Does this mean that the game is taking a very long time, that it's nowhere near release? Does it mean that we should be worried? No, it doesn't mean that we should be worried. Am I personally disappointed that we didn't see Metroid Prime 4 during this Direct? Yes. And why? Because I was hoping we might see it towards the end of this year. Maybe like a 1-2 punch, 2D Mario as we kind of discussed, but also Metroid Prime 4. And Metroid Prime 4 is not a part of that lineup. And this Direct was meant to announce the plans for the second half of the year. So with Metroid Prime 4 not being in this Direct, I think that pretty clearly suggests that Metroid Prime 4 is not coming out this year. But is it coming soon? I still think so, actually. Despite this disappointment, despite the lack of information, I still think it's not that far off. And that's what we're getting into today. But before we go further, let me point out that we are aiming to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. With your help, it just might be possible. And I'll also put out this reminder that we've recently partnered with Instant Gaming, so if you're looking to save money on digital games on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, check out the link in the description below. If you decide to get something there, it will also help out the channel. Maybe you want to pick up something like Pikmin 1 and 2 that came out as a $50 bundle. You can get a $50 eShop card with Instant Gaming, and will be less than $50, so you'll save even more money. So check it out, it's linked in the description below. So one of the reasons why I thought Metroid Prime 4 was close to a reveal, or a re-reveal I guess, is because early this year I heard from a reliable source that Metroid Prime 4 is basically complete. Now, that doesn't mean it's coming out this year, and when I initially reported on this, I didn't say it was coming out this year. Nintendo has a history of just saving things until it's the right time, and they may still be polishing it up, working on some little things here and there. We've recently seen some hirings. Of course, that doesn't mean the game is far off. For example, Mortal Kombat 1, we've recently seen hirings for that as well, and it's coming out this September. Hirings happen all throughout development, and it's also possible they could be hiring for talent to work on DLC. So basically, hirings really don't tell us much at all, because there are so many possibilities. But another reason I thought Prime 4 was around the corner is because Nate the Hate, who I think is a very reliable industry insider, has been saying that the game is supposed to come out by the end of the fiscal year, which lines up with what I heard, as I just told you. But the end of the fiscal year isn't until March of 2024, so Nintendo could wait until a September Nintendo Direct, and that might work out. Something that is interesting about this Direct that I think bodes well for some cool things in September is that we got another set of GameCube remasters just shadow dropped. So last February, when we got that Direct, they shadow dropped Metroid Prime Remastered, which I thought was also a sign that Prime 4 is not so far off. But this Direct that we just got, it wasn't Metroid related, but since Pikmin 4 is around the corner, like just a few weeks away, they shadow dropped Pikmin 1 and 2. So this could become a trend. And what's even more interesting about Pikmin 1 and 2 is that these weren't like the big boy remasters, right? They're basically HD upscales with some quality of life updates. But they're great games that will play well on Switch, and they're coming at a discounted price, $30 each or $50 together as a bundle. This might be exactly how Nintendo will handle Metroid Prime 2 and 3. So if Prime 4 is going to be, for example, the fiscal year ending closing game, so March of 2024, that's when it comes out, then maybe Nintendo does give us that blowout of Metroid Prime 4, or at least the first big trailer, this September, but then also announced Metroid Prime 2 and 3 as a bundle, and their Shadow Drop, the same way Pikmin 1 and 2 were. But perhaps what might even be more fair, though, is that this upcoming September, they just give us a trailer for Prime 4 and don't mention 2 or 3, but in a February Nintendo Direct, that's when they announced 2 and 3, and they shall drop them maybe about 6 weeks before release of Prime 4, which would be even more comparable to how they've handled Pikmin 1 and 2. Pikmin 4 is just a few weeks away, and now they've dropped Pikmin 1 and 2, so maybe that's how they handle Prime 2 and 3. So I would say that if this rumor from Nate the Hate is true, that Metroid Prime 4 is coming out by the end of the fiscal year, which I think there's a decent chance for that, then we may also see announcements for Prime 2 and 3 in either a September or February Nintendo Direct. One or the other. Maybe they could split them up. That's also possible. So while I was hoping that Prime 4 would finally get the big reveal and we would have this great marketing cycle where we could get these little tidbits every month or so and learn more and more about the game, we could analyze it and get super excited about it and finally be playing it by the end of the year, we're not quite there yet. But that doesn't mean we're extremely far off either. And it isn't like there aren't other great games to play. We still have Tears of the Kingdom. There are games from Nintendo coming out almost every month. And while I personally think the Nintendo Direct that we just got was a little bit subpar or maybe par for the course, somewhere around there, wasn't one of the best ones, there were still some great games that were announced, like Super Mario RPG. That's a legendary remake that we've been dreaming about and speculating on for years. And we're also finally getting a 2D Mario, but this one feels inspired, not cookie cutter. This might be the best 2D Mario we've gotten in maybe decades. So there are exciting things coming out for the second half of this year. There are exciting things to play for this year. And when that September Direct comes around, there may be another shadow drop of a quality GameCube remaster that might bolster up the lineup just a little bit more. And who knows, there could be DLC for other things, and maybe then we'll also finally learn about Metroid Prime 4. So a few months from now, will I start making prediction videos about Metroid Prime 4 about to get revealed? Probably. It's a bit of a vicious cycle here. But, you know, I was feeling more confident about it because in February, we did have something Metroid related. Maybe we're not going to get something Metroid related every single Nintendo Direct, especially if we're getting 3 major ones per year. But every other Direct might not be so bad. And if for whatever reason the September Direct doesn't have Metroid Prime 4, it still isn't the end of the world. As I said earlier, Nintendo likes to hold back on games. Metroid Prime Remastered was done since summer of 2021. It didn't come out until the beginning of 2023. So if Prime 4 is being finished sometime this year, they may hold off on it. I've talked about how Switch 2 is likely coming out next year. And I do feel the way things were done for this Direct, while there are some good games, it is sort of setting things up for the transition to next gen next year for Nintendo. And Prime 4 might have something to do with that. I do think Prime 4 will be on Switch. It will be a Switch game, and it will be an incredibly well-running, beautiful Switch game. But they may also have a better-looking, better-running version for Switch 2, and they may come out at the same time. A cross-gen release. I don't think Prime 4 is going to be a Switch launch title, but maybe launch window within the first few months of its release, because I think 3D Mario is the game that Nintendo needs to release to push that system. This is a possibility. Prime 4 could come out before Switch 2, and then just have a big update for it come out afterwards, the same way I think they're going to handle Tears of the Kingdom. Which may also be why we haven't heard about paid DLC plans for that. So my fellow Metroid fans, I don't think we should be totally worried. Our time will come. We've already had some good moments. We had Metroid Dread, we had Metroid Prime Remastered, and I think even greater things are ahead of us. We're just gonna have to be a little more patient. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andre's Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.